Hey, Chris with RC Worst here. Welcome. Anyway, welcome back to another great video, I guess. So we are talking about the Pentek Intellidrive, and I just made a couple of in-depth videos. One was an overview, one was not an overview. It was, let me check my notes, the basic setup, so basic programming. But anyways, this video, I don't want to take up much of your time. This is just a quick tips video, just the small tips and tricks that I've learned with my experience with the Intellidrives. This is going to be great for homeowners and installers alike. So let's just jump right on into it. So tip number one, this one's pretty simple. It's just a safety thing. Make sure that when you turn power off to the unit that you wait 5 minutes before you're sticking your fingers into the wiring. It can have some capacitance and you want to wait for that to naturally discharge. So if you don't want a shock, then go ahead and give it 5 minutes between cycling. Another tip that relates with cycling the power off to the unit, if you find that all of a sudden your faceplate is dead and you don't know what the problem is, if you turn the breaker off to the system, the faceplate is going to not do anything because it's dead. But if the fan ramps up quickly as soon as the breaker is turned off, then fortunately it's just the screen that's dead. You need to order a new screen and not your entire Intellidrive is dead. So it's a lot cheaper to replace that. So that's good news. Next tip. It is highly recommended with these Intellidrives that you do not use a magnetic contactor to engage and disengage power to the device if it's going to happen on a frequent basis. It's okay if you have a contactor as like an emergency shut-off or based on a float switch or something like that remotely, but for rapid operation, a contactor is going to destroy this unit. Don't do it. It is absolutely important. We've talked a lot about megers, doing meger testing, using a meg-o-meter to perform very accurate tests. Don't use a meger on any of the circuitry of the drive. Make sure you disconnect your motor leads if you're ever going to conduct a meger test. Otherwise, it's going to go poof, and there goes the drive. Not good. All right, another tip for you. One thing to keep in mind, if you decide not to crack the owner's manual on this thing, 1,000 feet is the maximum distance of wire you can have to your motor for this drive to still operate. So 1,000 feet. Keep that in mind when you're designing a system or picking this piece of equipment. It is pretty good though, 1,000 feet, that's a long ways. But don't exceed that. Next tip. So in previous videos, I mentioned that the Intellidrive can be used with above ground pumps, so like your everyday jet pump or centrifugal pump that you use for irrigation. If that pump is not, or motor rather, if that motor is not rated for variable frequency drives, it will still work on these subdrives. Just keep in mind you want to use a 25 feet or less of cable between the drive and the motor in order to ensure that everything works just fine and that the motor gets full life out of it. Otherwise, what's inevitably going to happen is it's going to run high current and the motor's not going to last as long, though it will probably work for quite a period of time. So just one of those tips that'll prolong the life of your equipment and save you money in the long run. The other tip is, yes, the Pentek Intellidrives can be run on a generator. I get that question from time to time, somebody wondering if they can run one of these on a generator, and often it's a short pause, awkward pause in the conversation because I don't just know that offhand with other pieces of equipment. But with this one, you can run it on a generator. Consult your owner's manual, page 6, for the generator sizing chart. It's right there. Next tip. Okay, last and final tip. This is another quick one. If you're using a 2-wire pump and motor, use the yellow and black terminals. Just in case you didn't open the owner's manual once again, yellow and black to run those 2-wire pump and motors. Otherwise, it's not going to work too well. Hopefully you enjoyed some of these tips and tricks. There's more where that came from. So that's all, folks. That's all we've got for the tips for you today. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more great content. And if you need a variable frequency drive, we do sell those, rcworst.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.